In a small village, where the streets were dusty and the houses were old, lived a woman named Anna and her little son, Oliver. They didn't have much. Their house was small, their clothes were worn, and most days, money was just enough for a simple meal, but what they did have was love. A quiet, steady love that held them together through the hardest days. Anna worked every morning. Long before the sun came up, she would gently get out of bed, careful not to wake Oliver, and walk through the cold streets to clean houses. Her hands were often tired, her feet would ache. But Anna never complained. When she came home, she always brought a small loaf of bread and a warm hug for her son. Oliver would smile brightly and say, "Thank you, Mama," and Anna would gently brush his hair and whisper, "You are my greatest treasure." Some days were especially hard. On those days, Anna would eat only a little, saving most of the food for Oliver. Even when she was hungry, she would smile and say, "Mama isn't very hungry today." "You eat, my sweet boy." At night, they would sit by a small window and look at the stars. Anna would softly tell Oliver stories, simple stories about hope, about kindness, about gentle hearts. Her voice was calm, slow, and warm. She would often say, "Life may not always be easy, but as long as we are together, we are rich in love." One winter, the nights were colder than usual. Their little house shook from the wind, and the blankets were thin. Anna would wrap Oliver in her arms, using her own body to keep him warm. As the wind howled outside, Anna would softly hum lullabies, her voice like a soft blanket wrapping Oliver's heart. "Sleep, my dear. Mama's here. You are safe. You are loved." Even when Anna was tired, even when her hands were cracked from the cold, she would keep Oliver close, whispering stories of better days. Oliver grew up watching his mother work hard, love gently, and give quietly. When he was old enough, he began to help her, carrying buckets, bringing water, doing little chores. But no matter how much he helped, Anna always reminded him, "You are still my little boy, and you will always be my greatest joy." Years passed, and Oliver became stronger. He worked, he saved, and slowly, he built a better life for both of them. One evening, as they sat together, watching the sunset, Oliver said, "Mama, I remember everything. I remember your stories. I remember your warm hands. I remember your quiet strength." Anna smiled softly and placed her hand on his. "And I remember you, my little boy, eating the last piece of bread with the biggest smile." They didn't need grand houses or fine clothes. They had each other, and they had the quiet, beautiful memories of a love that never gave up. As the years passed, life began to change slowly for Anna and Oliver. Oliver grew taller, his steps became stronger, and his hands, once small and soft, were now steady and firm. But in his heart, he was still the little boy who sat by the window, listening to his mother's quiet stories, wrapped in her warmth. He worked every day, just like his mother once did. He would carry heavy baskets, chop wood, and run errands for people in the village. Every evening, he would come home with a small coin or a loaf of bread and place it gently in his mother's hands, and Anna would always say, "You've worked hard, my sweet boy. But remember, you will always be my little treasure." Even though Oliver was growing older, Anna never stopped caring for him like he was still her small child. She would still warm his tea. She would still mend his clothes with her careful, tired hands. But slowly, quietly, Anna's hands began to shake. Her steps became smaller, her breath grew softer. Oliver noticed, and his heart gently ached. So he began doing more. He cooked simple meals, he fetched water from the well, and he took over the morning chores, all while still working in the village. One cold evening, Anna sat by the window, watching the soft snow fall outside. Oliver brought her a warm cup of tea and a thick scarf he had saved up to buy. "Mama, you've always kept me warm. Now let me keep you warm," he said softly. Anna smiled, her eyes filled with gentle tears. She wrapped the scarf around her neck and whispered, "You've grown into such a good man, my son. I've always known you would." From then on, Oliver would tuck his mother in every night, just as she used to tuck him in when he was a little boy. He would sit beside her, tell her stories, and hum the lullaby she once sang to him. His voice was soft, calm, steady. You are safe. Mama, you are warm. You are loved. And sometimes Anna would drift to sleep with a peaceful smile, as if his words wrapped around her like a soft blanket. Even though their house was still small, it now felt warmer, cozier, filled with the quiet love of a son caring for his mother, just as she had cared for him. Days turned into seasons. Seasons turned into years. Oliver worked hard, saved carefully, and one day he was able to build a slightly bigger house. Not grand, not fancy. Just enough for Anna to have a soft bed, a thicker blanket, and a window where she could still watch the stars. One evening, as they sat watching the sunset, Anna whispered, "You've given me a beautiful life." "My son," Oliver took her hand and gently replied, "You gave me everything first." "Mama." They sat there in peaceful silence, their hearts full of quiet gratitude. They didn't need more. They already had what truly mattered, the little things, the warm memories, the steady love that never asked for anything in return. The house became quieter after Anna passed away. Oliver still woke up early every morning, just like his mother used to. He would quietly prepare tea, place a cup on the table where she used to sit, and softly whisper, "This is for you, Mama." Even though the chair was empty, Oliver could still feel her presence in the quiet, in the soft morning light, in the gentle warmth of the tea. Every day, Oliver would work, walk home slowly, and sit by the same window where his mother once told him stories. Some days, he would talk to her. Some days, he would simply sit in peaceful silence, breathing slowly, feeling the soft memories in his heart. The seasons passed, one by one, and Oliver never stopped remembering her. He would visit the market and buy her favorite bread, still warm, still soft. He would pick her favorite flowers, the small white daisies that used to grow near their house. He would bring them home and place them on the table beside her cup of tea, and every time he would whisper the same words, "You are safe. You are warm. You are deeply loved." The people in the village often watched Oliver from afar. They remembered Anna's kindness. They remembered her soft voice, her gentle hands, and her quiet strength. Sometimes, older villagers would stop by his home, bringing warm soup or fresh bread. They would sit with Oliver, sharing quiet stories about his mother. She was a kind woman. They would say, "She worked hard. She loved you more than anything." Oliver would smile softly and reply, "I know. She still walks with me every day." And truly, he could still feel her love in the breeze, in the sunlight, in the soft sounds of the house she once cared for. One spring morning, as Oliver walked by the old well, he saw a young girl sitting quietly, her face sad, her clothes worn. She looked just like he once did, small, tired, but with eyes full of hope. Her mother had passed away, and she had nowhere to go. Oliver sat beside her and offered her a piece of warm bread. He looked at her gently and said, "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved." The girl, whose name was Lily, slowly began to trust him. Oliver, remembering his mother's heart, brought Lily home. He made her tea, just like his mother did for him. He told her stories, just like his mother did, and so Oliver became a quiet, steady guardian, just as Anna had once been. Every evening, he would tuck Lily into bed and softly whisper, "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved." And in Lily's peaceful dreams, she would often see Anna, a kind woman, smiling, holding her hand. Years passed. Lily grew up under Oliver's gentle care. He taught her to cook, to be kind, to find joy in the little things, the soft rain, the warm tea, the quiet walks. And when Lily became old enough, she began to care for Oliver in return. She would bring him tea in the morning, just like he once did for his mother. She would walk with him through the village, carrying baskets, just as he once did on winter nights. She would sit by his bed and softly whisper, "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved." The love that Anna once gave to Oliver had now traveled through time, from mother to son, from son to this little girl, creating a beautiful, quiet circle that never broke. Oliver grew older, his steps slower, but his heart was full. He would often sit with Lily, watching the stars from the window. "Do you remember, Lily?" he would say. "My mother used to sit here with me, just like this." And Lily would gently take his hand and say, "I remember, and I will keep remembering for both of us." As the years went by, the house became a place where many children without families would come. Lily and Oliver would welcome them, care for them, and always, always remind them, "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved." And the house that once belonged to Anna became a home filled with soft voices, gentle footsteps, warm tea, and quiet stories told by candlelight. When the time came for Oliver to rest, he was not afraid. He lay in his warm bed, surrounded by the quiet love he had given, and the quiet love that had returned to him. Lily sat beside him, holding his hand, and softly whispered, "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved." Oliver smiled, just like his mother once did, and with a peaceful sigh, he drifted into a gentle sleep. The house remained simple, small, but forever filled with love, and the words, those soft, steady words, continued to echo through the halls. "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved." Years passed. The little house, once filled with quiet stories and the soft footsteps of Oliver and Anna, was now filled with the voices of many children. Lily, now older, continued Oliver's work, but she did not do it alone. Daniel, the boy who once arrived at the door in the rain, had now grown into a kind, steady young man. Every evening, Daniel would sit with the new children by the fire, telling them stories about Anna, about Oliver, and about the love that had kept this house standing through storms, through hunger, through loss. He would always finish his stories with the same words, "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved." But life has its own quiet way of testing even the strongest hearts. One summer, a powerful man named Mr. Hartley arrived in the village. He was building a new road, a grand project that would cut straight through the land where the little house stood. To him, the house was just an old building, small, weak, unimportant. He wanted it gone. He sent letters. He offered money. When the family refused, he sent men to pressure them. Lily, the older now, stood firm. "This house is not just wood and stone," she told them. "It is the home where love lives." But Mr. Hartley did not listen. One night, his men came with tools to tear the house down. Daniel, hearing the noise, gathered the children quickly. "Stay together. Stay safe." Lily stood in front of the house, her voice calm but unshaken. "You will not destroy what love has built." The villagers, hearing the commotion, came quickly. People who once found shelter in the house, people who remembered Anna's kindness, people who had been helped by Oliver and Lily. Together, they formed a human wall. Standing in silence, protecting the house, one of Mr. Hartley's men paused, lowering his tool. One of Mr. Hartley's men paused, lowering his tool. He whispered, "This is not just a house, it's a..." The other slowly stepped back, and in that moment, Mr. Hartley, watching from a distance, realized something. He had all the money, all the power, but he did not have what they had. He did not have a home built on love. He did not have people who would stand for him like this. He quietly called off his men and left the village. The house was safe. One evening, after the storm had passed, Daniel found an old wooden box in the attic. Inside was a small journal. It belonged to Anna. Her handwriting was soft and careful, page after page. She had written about her days with Oliver, her hopes, her fears, her quiet prayers. In one of the last entries, she wrote, "If my love can reach beyond my time, let it find him. Let it hold him. Let it remind him. He is safe. He is warm. He is loved." Daniel carefully closed the journal and held it to his chest. Tears filled his eyes. He finally understood. The love that built this house was never gone. It had traveled through Anna, to Oliver, to Lily, to him, and now it was his turn. Daniel gathered the children by the fire that evening. He held the journal and began to tell the story of Anna, of Oliver, of Lily, of all the hearts that had been touched by this quiet home. His voice was steady, warm, full of love. And at the end, he softly said, "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved." The children smiled, their hearts resting peacefully in the warmth of his words. Daniel promised himself that he would keep this home standing, not because it was just a house, but because it was living proof that love, simple, steady love, can outlast storms, fear, and even time itself. As Daniel grew older, more people came to the house. Some stayed, some passed through. Some simply needed to hear the words. And when Daniel's hair turned silver, a young girl named Mia, who had once come to the house with tears in her eyes, sat by his side. She whispered to him, "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved," just as he once heard as a child. The love continued, the stories continued, the house remained. Even long after Daniel was gone, the house still stood, and if you walked by on a quiet evening, you could still hear the soft echoes. You are safe. You are warm. You are loved. Love moves quietly. It travels from hand to hand, from heart to heart, through generations. It does not need grand palaces. It only needs a small house, a warm cup of tea, and a quiet voice that says, "You are safe. You are warm. You are loved." Close your eyes now. Let your breath slow. Feel the warmth around you. You are safe. You are warm. You are loved. Sleep well.